Hi everybody. Today we shall discuss about circular motion, which is under the unit 2 force and motion. Okay, so first of all, here are the contents, and where we want to learn some physics about the circular motion, its definition of angular displacement, angular velocity, and relation between linear and angular velocity, frequency, time period, angular acceleration, and similarly its relation with angular acceleration and linear acceleration, concept of centripetal and centrifugal forces. These all these are physics, but here it's the application part, banking of roads and bending of cyclists. So first of all, we have to consider circular motion. Circular motion, the term as it suggests, that anything that is circle or circular. So here are some examples of circular motion where we can find that all the motions here just like circle, and it has a constant radius. Okay, so all are here circular motion. This has some constant radius and its motion is in circular in nature. So if we consider this one, whether this is a circular motion or not, it is also a circular motion. However, it is not completing a complete circle. It is a pendulum, okay, moving to and fro, but it is part of a circle. That's why it is also a circular motion. So it is defined as the motion of a particle along a complete circle or part of a circle, and it is not necessary that the body should complete a full circle. In circular motion, its radius is constant, as you see, so r equal to constant. Now what is angular displacement? Angular displacement is defined as the angle in radians through which a point or lines has been rotated in a specified sense about a specified axis. So here if the point moves from this one, from here to there, so initially it was at an angle theta 1, and then from this axis it makes an angle theta 2. So the angular displacement, what is displacement? Angular displacement is theta 2 minus theta 1. This is the displacement. Okay, always remember that when we measure angles in clockwise direction, that is treated as negative, and when we measured angles in anti-clockwise direction, these all are treated as positive. Okay, so now the arc length delta is equal to r delta theta equal to delta s by r. Here one interesting thing is that delta s is delta s is the arc length and r is the radius. Both are the lengths, so it is a dimensionless quantity. This is a radian, measures in angle. So in differential form, since delta s and delta theta are very small, we can write ds equal to r d theta, and the total angle 2 pi radian. Here from this axis to up to this is 2 pi radian or 360 degree. So linear speed and velocity under uniform circular motion. So if we consider this figure where a particle is moving in a circular direction with radius r, its velocity is changing. Okay, what about speed? Speed is a scalar quantity, so speed is constant, and velocity is a vector quantity, so it's changing always. However, the magnitude of the velocity is constant, but since it is a vector, it is changing its direction, so the velocity is changing. So what is angular velocity? Angular velocity is the change of angular displacement per unit time. So it is the angular displacement and how much time it is taking, that is by that time we find the angular velocity, and its unit is angular velocity is radian per second. And the relation with the linear velocity, is, we have find that omega equal to theta 2 minus theta 1 by t2 minus t1. This is the displacement, angular displacement, and this is the time. So this is the change in angular displacement. So we can write it as omega equal to d theta dt and equal to ds by r dt. Why? Now d theta equal to ds by r and ds dt comes out to be v. So the final relationship we get omega equal to v by r. And in vector form we can write v equal to omega cross r, which is evident from this picture. Omega is the vector. Always keep in mind that the direction of the angular velocity is along the axis of the motion. Okay, so here is omega and this is r, omega cross r, that is if we consider omega from r, so this is a right-handed corkscrew and the motion will be in this direction. So omega cross r equal to v. And now the time period. Time period is defined as some time taken for one complete revolution. So if we consider this motion, what is the time taken for one complete revolution? That is, its unit should be in second and t equal to 2 pi by omega. Particularly in this figure, all have the same angular velocity but different linear velocity, since r is different from each of the points. Okay, so frequency is defined as the number of complete revolution per unit time. So if we consider this one, so just take a look in this picture. The total time taken in 2 loops is 12 seconds. So for loop it is 6 seconds. So for one loop it takes 6 seconds. So the time period is 6 seconds and the frequency is 1 by 6. Okay, that is the frequency, that in 1 second how much turn or how many turns of complete revolution it is completing, and its unit is hertz. Sometimes it is called cycles per second or CPS. Okay, now angular acceleration is same way related to the linear acceleration. It is the change in angular velocity. This is angular acceleration, change in angular velocity by time. So alpha equal to change in angular velocity by change in time d omega dt equal to 1 by r dv dt, and dv dt equal to a. Okay, so now we can see that alpha equal to a by r. Alpha is the angular acceleration and a is the linear acceleration. So what is centripetal acceleration? Centripetal acceleration, as we have seen that velocity is always changing, so velocity of body changes continuously and which causes one acceleration. So the centripetal acceleration is directed towards the center and it arises due to the change in the linear velocity. Here the centripetal acceleration AC equal to v square by r equals to omega square by r. We can put it this here and find out this relation. However, it is out of scope for the derivation right now. So centripetal force is nothing but mass into acceleration. So whenever we multiply mass into acceleration, we get force. So here mass into centripetal acceleration. It is the force acting on a particle performing uniform circular motion, and this force is along the radius of the circle and directed towards the center of the circle. Okay, so we can term that differently. Sometimes we can term the tension, sometimes we can term that as friction and gravity, but all are centripetal forces towards the center, and it is defined as this one and given by m omega square r. Okay, so these are the properties. Centripetal force is a real force and directed towards the center of the circle, and centripetal force acts along the radius of the circle. It is necessary for maintaining uniform circular motion, and the value is given as mv square by r, and doesn't do any work since it is perpendicular to the direction of the motion. Okay, next is centrifugal force. Centrifugal force is just in opposite direction to the centripetal force. Centripetal force is directed towards the center, centrifugal force is directed away from the center. Okay, and it is one apparent force that is felt by an object moving in curved path, also called pseudo force. same magnitude of centripetal force and it is opposite direction to the centripetal force. The formula remains same, it is mv square by r and m equal to m omega square r, but always keep in mind it is a pseudo force, it is not one original actual force. Now these are the properties of centrifugal force. So centrifugal force is a pseudo force, acts along the radius but directed away or outward directed. It is always directed to the opposite to the centripetal force, and the formula remains same for mv square by r for the centrifugal force. Important thing is that centripetal and centrifugal forces do not constitute an action reaction pair. Action reaction pair only happens when both the forces are real forces, but here centripetal force is real and centrifugal force is pseudo force, so these two forces do not constitute an action reaction pair force. So now this is banking of roads. What is banking of roads? Banking of roads is defined as the process in which the edges are raised for the carved roads. So here this is the surface, earth surface. Now the road is here, make a slant, make a slope. So this is the carved roads and the edge is raised. This is the banking. Okay. So inner edge through a certain angle to provide the necessary centripetal force to the vehicle so that they can take safe turn. Now this is the angle of banking, this is the horizontal surface and the road is actually making this slope or slant. This is the angle of banking and it is necessary to take a safe turn of any vehicle. The centripetal force of circular motion can be provided in two ways. Number one, frictional force between the tires and the vehicles of the road, and banking of the road. Now we consider the motion in an unbanked road, that is there is no angle, the road is making zero angle with the surface, that means the road is not at all making any slope. So here in this case the centripetal force is mv square by r and the frictional force is mu mg. So centripetal force is force arises due to the frictional force. So we can write mv square by r equal to mu mg or v square by r equal to mu g, and from these two equations we get from equation v max equal to mu rg. Now what is mu? Mu is the coefficient of friction between road and the tires, and r is the radius of the carved, that is this is the carved road and its radius is r, g is the acceleration due to gravity. Maximum velocity, this is the expression for maximum velocity with which a car can safely travel along a carved unbanked road. Now when banking appears, this is the horizontal surface and the road is carved in this way. This is angle of banking, and now this weight of the car mg is acting downward and the reaction force perpendicular to the road is r. It can be decomposed into two components, r cos theta and r sin theta. R cos theta is balanced by the weight mg, m is the mass of the car, and here capital R is the radius of the curvature of the road, v is the linear velocity, and r sin theta provides the required centripetal force. Okay. From this figure we can write weight is balanced by vertical component as we are discussing, r cos theta equal to mg and r sin theta equal to the centripetal force mv square by r. From these two equations we get tan theta equal to v square by rg and theta equal to tan inverse v square by rg, and this is the v max, we get root over rg tan theta. Now the angle of banking is independent of the mass of the vehicle, no matter whether it is a heavy truck or a lighter vehicle, but the angle of banking is independent of that mass. Okay, so it depends on the velocity with which the car is moving and the radius of the path and acceleration due to gravity at that point. Now and this is the maximum speed with which the vehicle can safely travel along the carved road. So depending on these values, angle of banking, g and r, we can decide the maximum velocity. It is for any type of car, heavy, lighter, any type of. Now motion of a cyclist, if we consider the motion of a cyclist, here the road is not banked. It is a circular road with radius r, but to maintain the equilibrium, to maintain its motion, it has to bend itself and making an angle theta with the vertical. All other equations parameters remains same. So here, while moving in a circular level road of radius r at velocity v, a cyclist has to bend by an angle theta from vertical. We have observed that in practical cases when we ride bikes or cycles at higher velocity and taking one turn, then we always bend inside towards the center of the carved road, and that is given by the above expression. So here also we are ignoring the friction that is out of the syllabus right now, out of the scope of discussion right here. Okay, so today up to this. Thank you very much.